Okay. I don't have a current presentation available because I don't know if you looked at the announcements which we done. So everything has changed really for DRC Gold. So we're still working on that one, and it's not available at this point in time.
Okay, this is no problem. Obviously, there's a lot of changes to cover, a lot of news releases that you pull out lately. So if you want to walk us through that, and then yeah, we are just gonna be happy to listening to you. We
Okay.
know how well you can present, so it won't be a problem at all. So best of
No, no.
luck. 20 minutes.
Okay. Will do. Yeah. So in general, if you remember, AGN Resources several weeks ago was converted into DRC Gold, the name, because the focus will be just purely gold in the DRC. And over the last 6 weeks, 8 weeks, we basically have changed the whole company. We wholly focused now on two projects. One which was announced 6 weeks ago, which is a Giro Gold project. Giro Gold has around 4.2 million ounces and no hardly any strip ratio, open cut, high recoveries. And in 4 years ago, it was valued at around 72 million US dollars when the gold price was $1,100. That has changed now substantially. The company thinks that we can bring that into production fairly quickly, produce 100,000 ounces at around 1,100, 1,200 US. Possibly also the plant, under 100 million USD capex. So there is certainly a huge upside there. If the deal closes in 8 weeks after we basically got shareholder approval, then I think it will be one of the cheapest gold stocks on the planet on that one. To keep the blue sky going, we just acquired Nisi. Nisi is was the highest grade gold mine in the DRC. In the 1930s, was mined at around 15 grams per ton head grade and a cut off at 10 grams per ton. Was never drilled. It was always mined visually by the Belgians. That mine hasn't been drilled over the last 100 years. Nothing has been done there other than the tailings have been mined, remined, and basically every year remined, so just to get all the gold out of the tailings. No drill holes have ever been done. We've done over the last decade several programs on the license, and always tried to arrange a deal over that project area, but it always fell through for some reasons, which I don't want to go into. But the host rocks around the Nisi gold mine is around 2 to 3 grams. We've done some trenching there, rock chip sampling there. So we quite convinced, that there will be a large tonnage, low-grade resource surrounding the original mine, and there is certainly scope at depths to intercept the high-grade structure there, which was mined around 15 grams per ton. So overall, I think with the 4 million ounces of Giro, and then with Nisi, where we are pretty confident that we should have 2 to 3 million ounces there within 12 to 18 months. We should be on the way to have a second mine there also in the next 3-4 years. As I said before, the strategy is to focus wholly on the DRC. We looking at various other projects also in the gold sector there, which are all in the northeast. And we hopefully that we can get another project done over the next 4 to 6 weeks, which will add significantly then also to the portfolio which we have already. I mean, a lot of maybe I go also into the into the general setting in the DRC. I mean, historically, it has been quite successful, or I've been quite successful in the DRC. And over the last 25 years, I must say, despite getting always a discount on the country, it's very easy to work in. It's also very quickly to bring projects into production. I mean, if you look at Moto Gold Mines, which is now Kibali's, and that's one of the biggest money makers for Barrick Gold. And then you look at Alphamin, I mean, one of the biggest tin projects now on the planet, 4% average grade. if you compare that to Australia or Canada, where you're looking at 0.1 or 0.2%. And those projects were only created 2013, brought into production fairly quickly within a 4 to 5 year time frame. So you can get everything done very quickly there. There is not that much red tape there. There is sometimes some political issues, but for me as an exploration geologist, that's minor, because political issues can be sorted out. While if the geology is not there and the resource is not there, there's nothing to be sorted out. So the risk from my point of view is not really that significant, as the geology in the Congo is very rewarding, and it can be also explored very quickly. So you don't have the issues like where you have to start with soil sampling, geophysics, and you work on the project several years, 10 years before you actually then put the first drill hole in. So in summary, we have also several other projects, the Kabunda area, which is a lithium project. It could be Manono copycat, but which is AVZ, which we probably don't pursue over the next several months ourselves, because we focus on the gold side. But there is quite a few parties around the planet interested to do a joint venture or take over the exploration, and we will retain a percentage share, just to be still in the game if there's something big coming out of it. The other project which we maybe just referred to, which we had acquired 1 year ago in Ethiopia, there's a lot of red tape there, very difficult to operate. To get the drill rig in took nearly a year, and now we basically can't go on site because there's some political issues down there in the south. So we had to relieve the drill rig and just put it on hold for the time being. A decision will be made probably pretty shortly, also over the next 2-3 months, if we actually continue there or not. We haven't spent that much money there. It's just basically the time we have wasted on that country there. So it's not an easy place to operate, and so we stay in the DRC. Some people might think it's not that easy to operate there, but we think it's one of the easier places to operate, and also to be successful in a short period of time, which is always very, very important for juniors, because if you have to work for 5, 6, 7 years on a project, people will lose interest. And then also, as you know, the time is pretty buoyant. So we certainly will drive all the projects forward very quickly and aggressively. We're looking already at drilling companies to move on site. While in the north, on Giro, we started with the relocation. So that should be completed in the next 8 weeks. And after that, we can then look at starting employing the plant, equipment, etc., to continue construction there, to start the mining operations there. Most of the permitting has been done. So we're pretty confident that we can construct the plant there quite rapidly, and then probably 27 might even go into production early already. Yeah, I think that's it in summary. I don't think I have too much more to say. A PowerPoint presentation, we're working on that one with the new projects and the acquisitions and the name change, etc., which is necessary. We should put out probably in the next 4 or 5 days. Also the website, we're working on that too, that it's going to be updated to reflect the change of focus, and then also to give every investor the chance to actually look at what we're actually doing, rather than an old projects which we actually not pursuing anymore at this point in time. Yep, I think that's it from my side. I mean, if anybody has any questions, I'm available.
All right, thank you very much for the presentation, Mr. Eckhof. There's obviously quite a few questions that are coming up. So the first one, if you can tell us about what you accomplish in Congo. A lot of people are here in Congo, they're seeing risk, they're seeing political risk and so on. So basically, what's your exact parcours in Congo, and how does that affect the outcome of mining operation, of permitting obtention, and of respecting capex prices and so on?
Well, I think in summary, I mean, if I was recently, all of my guys were recently traveling around in Goma and in Lueshi, in those areas there. We didn't see anybody there. We didn't have any problems. I mean, if you look at CNN, then yeah, there seems to be some issues there, but that's in reality, it's not the case, you know, and it has been over the last 25 years, you know. Every time, you know, you hear something bad, and then we go there and look, and we can't see anything. And the northeast, for example, is it. I always say, you know, the distance. You know, if you look at CNN, you know, you see a big bump in Goma, and but to get to Goma, you know, it's for example from our operation is 800 kilometers. It takes you a month roughly to get there. You know, so. It doesn't affect us. It's Congo is a big place, and it has its issues, but I must say it's more some, I would call it more bandits or groups, you know, which are around in the northeast, but not in the far northeast, more north southeast. North southeast. So yeah, I think in summary, you know, we never had any issues whatsoever. I mean, for example, even a lot of people ask me about Alphamin or Rome Resources, but that location had never had any problems. It's just because they're both public companies, they had to take precaution, you know, if something happens, and stopped for a couple of weeks there. So it didn't have any impact whatsoever on operating there. It was just a precaution because of insurance problems, etc., etc. If something happens, and we didn't really do something beforehand.
Okay, this is obviously quite clear. And not only that, it brings us other question. Like, for example, when's the last time you were in RDC? Do you still go often during the year? And what's your foothold down there now?
Yeah, I'm usually there every 3-4 weeks. I mean, if you don't show your face there, that's a problem, because as soon as you leave, they forget you. So sometimes every 2 weeks, or yeah, very often there. And some of my guys basically live there, you know, since 15 years. On site, they go home twice a year or 3 times a year, depending on what the workload is. But yeah, I mean, we're always present in some form, either in the east or in Kinshasa. I'm more mainly in Kinshasa on the political side, while our geologists are all on the eastern side. But sometimes they're in Kinshasa too, so it's not necessarily that they never go there.
And how did you choose your involvement with DRC Gold versus other projects? I know with a track record like yours, you have a lot of opportunity under your hands, a lot of people contacting you with projects. So what specifically made you go to DRC Gold?
Because the DRC has been very good to me. So I mean, I had 3 world-class deposits there within 3 to 5 years. Where else can you do that, you know? So, and then in a DRC, I don't have any competition. There is nobody. There is no juniors, very little, just very rarely, you know. So there is hardly any competition on the licenses. There is no majors there, unless you look at the Katanga area, which is a copper belt. That's a different place, but I'm focused on the tin side and also the gold side in particular. And there haven't been much companies around there. You know, it's nobody did work there. You know? There are a couple of companies who worked in the northeast. Was Rio. I had a joint venture with Rio way back, but that was for iron ore. So there is interest out there. They're looking for an entry point there. But I mean, as you know, I mean, gold or tin, for example, the market is too small for a Rio Tinto or a BHP. So they would have to look at copper. Gold projects, they would need, I mean, all the gold majors would need 15 to 20 million ounces nowadays. So they're not looking for a 2 million ounce deposit. That doesn't change their balance sheet. So there is no competition, which is good. I mean, the Americans saying they're all coming in. I think, the Congolese are quite good salesmen in telling them how we got all these mines up in the northeast. But if anybody steps out of the plane, the mine is an artisanal show. That's the gold mine there. There's no drilling there. There's no resource there most of the time, despite being there since 70 years or 80 years. Can't hear you.
I was muted. I'm sorry about that. When we look at it, obviously there are world-class deposits to be found in Congo. There are more maybe world-class deposits to be found in Congo. And then how do you go into finding those in Congo? Do you rely on massive swarm of workers? Do you rely on technology? How do you find new elephant deposit in Congo?
Well, in the early 2000s, my geologist and we basically organized. I think he was 2 weeks in Belgium in the museum, and we went through all the data that we accumulated, everything what was possible there at that point in time, and based on that one, there's a lot of what do you call it? Grassroots work from the Belgians, which you can see there. They were focused on alluvials naturally because the gold price was $30 or $50. But they did quite a lot of work there throughout the whole Northeast. And through that one, naturally, they attracted then artisanals. And then you have major structures going through the area. What is in particular also important is that the grades are in the Congo. They're all way, way higher than anywhere else. So usually, if a low-grade deposit is 1.2 grams per ton, which is normal anywhere else. But most of the deposits are higher grade, and which is certainly important for the economics. And nobody has done much drilling there. Regional exploration, I think that'll be over the next 20 to 30 years, really, where you have to do that. But as long as it's easier to find things because you can find artisanal shows, and then you can start working from that one onwards with trenching, etc., etc. People will stick. Well, I will stick to it, and other people probably too. So,
Okay, and then if we move a bit more to the DRC Gold company by itself, can you tell us a little more about the share structure of the company? How much will you be owning? What is happening? Do you have institutional investors coming in to support the company? How is that remodeling being done in the share structure?
Yep, there's around 107 million shares only out at the moment, but after the transactions, there will be another 350 million more as a payment for the GEO project and also for the Nizi project. The capital, we at the moment have $3.5 million in the bank, so we're quite comfortable with that. But naturally, at one point in time, when the deal closes, which is going to be another 8 weeks roughly, we need to do the audit. We need to do a disclosure document, and then we need shareholder approval for it. But we have set already the stage, with attracting institutions. I don't know if you saw that Dave Vago from SPC, Spot Capital, he just joined the board. And there's plenty of interest there, but I told everybody, let's wait till we close the project. We don't want to raise any money, or maybe not much money anymore at these low prices at the moment. Might top it up a little bit, but not big amounts of money.
Okay, perfect. And then you were discussing that you're joining basically with your previous team, with your previous geologist and all the team that does already have discoveries in DRC, is that correct?
Correct. I only worked with 3 to 5 geologists over the last 20 years. They're still the same. If I don't need them, then they wait till we do something. And if the market is bad, they just sit on the beach in Dar es Salaam, or they're from Tanzania, and one is from Ghana and one is from Germany. So they're all over the place, but they're focused on what I'm doing there, and then we can rely on them. And I know exactly, what they think and what they do and how they work.
Well, that's great. That also means they're ready for deployment. So how will you be spending the money on the ground within the next few months?
Well, the northern part, the GEO project, there's 2 geologists from us already there since 15 years. They will look after the relocation with a couple of other Congolese partners. And then I will focus on the exploration at Nisi. I'm already in discussions with a couple of drilling firms, so that when we get the shareholder approval, that we will be ready. We don't have to look for drill rigs for another 3-4 months. There's a few in the DRC which have lots of drill rigs, and also the backup there, which is important in the Congo, because you don't want to have somebody there who has one drill rig and no backup, no workshop there. We don't want to be involved in that one.
Okay, that's great. So that means that basically, when are you planning to do another raise, and what do you plan on publishing result before that raise happens?
If we do something, then we do maybe a small capital raising over the next 8 weeks, but it'll be just a small capital raising for the time being. And then once everything is closed and we can start promoting the company a bit more, then certainly we will look at a bigger capital raising. So that'll be not before May this year.
Okay, perfect. And then maybe looking into DRC, are there seasonal requirements? So basically that you have to stop, you cannot use heavy equipment. Or there anything that during your year in the season there limits you in the work you can do?
Yeah, there is in certain areas, but the northeastern part is 900 meters above sea level. It's not jungle, so you can actually get there all year round. You might have a little bit of rainy season there, and if you have a heavy RC rig, it might get bogged or so. But in general, you can work all year round there. Nisi is pretty much the same. It actually has quite good access there, roads. It's closer to the border, and if you look at the other project, there's other projects naturally, if they're in the jungle, then that would be then a lot more difficult. So you would have to bring in the drill rig, when the rainy season stops. But that's not the case for those two projects at this point in time.
Okay, this is great to hear. And then if you could, we still have about 4 minutes to go on. So I would like to do a quick recap with you. If you can just list the project, and then the commodities there's in, and the status of the project, exploration, if there's a resource, or what's been happening historically on it.
Yeah, summary. Giro Goldfields is a resource, 4.2 million ounces at the moment. And it's up in the northeastern part. It's 30 kilometers away from Kibali on the western side. So it's the infrastructure is, I would call it for Congo, excellent. And then the relocation process has started. So it's production orientated. We're looking at the plant and equipment at the moment. So we pretty sure that over the next 6 to 8 months there will be some progress on that. Most of the permitting has been done, and that project is certainly highly profitable in the current gold market.
Okay, and in regard to just before we leave, you said there's a resource. Can you tell us where it's located? Is it deep? Is it 200 meters down? Is it at surface?
It's open cut. It's very good recoveries, 96-97% recoveries. So it'll be highly profitable. We think, well, what we discussed recently, $1,100-$1,200 production costs for that. So we're pretty confident that will happen. I mean, the project, if you look, when we did the deal, we paid 24 million Canadian dollars for it. So evaluation with $1,100 was 72 million US. So in the current market, it's worth around 350 million US if you do an independent valuation on it. So from that point of view, even today, that without any production and with the Nisi project, we are relatively, extremely cheap compared to the rest of the market. However, as I have to say, we need still to close the deal.
Okay, and then in order to close the deal, can you tell us a little recap of what their needs? What are the next steps?
The next steps is the CSE requires us to do an audit on everything what we are acquiring. That's in progress already since 2 months. Naturally, in the Congo, it always is a bit more difficult. And after that, we need a disclosure document, which will take probably around 2 weeks. And once that is all lodged with the CSE, then we will get the shareholder approval organized over the next, say, 14, 15 days.
Okay, that's great. So basically, in the next few months, things will move at a very fast track.
Yeah.
It's a new story. It's an existing company. It's new projects. We're talking about, if the transaction goes through, acquisition price of $6 about an ounce, if I'm correct, on Canadian dollars or something like that.
Yeah,
This
plus
is an
and we have the highest grade gold mine in the Congo on top
This
of
is astonishing. No matter what discount rate you apply it for a
yeah.
political reason, for regional, it doesn't matter. $6. I don't think I ever heard any stories as good as this one in that specific metric. So, Mr. Eckhof, this is all the time we had. It was extremely interesting. I'm always excited to follow your news stories. I think you have a proven track record, and we wish you very much the best of luck with DRC Gold, that the transaction can go on and that you can already go there, spend time, energy, your staff, and make this story as an amazing news story. So thank you very much for your time and presentation.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me, and talk next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.